Hello and welcome back to Sweet Nothings Crochet's videos. In today's video I'm going to show you how to make a button enclosure for your bag or for some other project of yours in crochet. Now let's assume this is one side of your work and this is the button that you're going to be using. You can use any button, but depending if you've attached the button and then there's a space for the thread to go around, this is the kind of enclosure finishing that I'm going to show you right now. This is just a swatch. This is not actually a project, you understand, right? But we are assuming that this is one end of your project and this is going to be the other end of your project, and you want to attach these two ends to close so. I have just worked an arbitrary number of stitches. I have about 13 stitches here, and I've worked a half double crochet on all these stitches so far. I start with a chain one in all of my rows. The stitching here is only to show you how to do the enclosure, but if you do want to see how to work my half double crochet, please check my earlier videos. So like I told you, I had 13 stitches here. You go till you're on the halfway point or the center stitch. So the center stitch would be 7th stitch. 1 2 3 4 5 6. That's the 7th stitch. That's the center. Now if you have worked 25 stitches, your center would be 13, the 13th stitch. So just count the number of stitches that you have and ensure that you have an even number of stitches on either side. Place a marker in the center stitch and then come up to that center stitch, right? You come up to the center stitch and then you work your enclosure piece, the strap piece. So you just work any number of chain that you want. Now why do I say any number of chain? There are several ways that you can get it attached. If let's say you want to get it attached such that both ends are completely closed and you have it overlapping, then you need to have it tighter. So you work your chains and see that it goes around from the bottom. And then you have to stop at that point there. Okay? Let's say you wanted to have an opening that is slightly larger. Let's say your button was not right on the top on the first rank. Here I have put my button on the first row or very close to the first row. Let's assume the project was longer and I have kept my button slightly further down, like I have in one of the projects that are linked on my bio. And then I have a longer strap, and then you make the enclosure in such a way that you work the strap that way, and then you have the strap, or if you want to have the strap that closes over and comes this way on the top, see? So depending on how far you want the enclosure, so let's look at the first thing that we had done. We have the enclosure that's really tight. So you worked your chain, snap it around and under the button, and then see where it stops. Mark that stitch, go up to that point, and then continue working whichever stitch you were working. Work one more stitch in the same center stitch to lock it. Sorry, that didn't come neat. There. And continue your half double crochet all the way till the end. It doesn't have to be the half double crochet, like I said. It is whatever stitch you were working. If it's a single crochet that you worked right on top at the end of that project, then you work your single crochet all the way to the end. If it was a double crochet, you work the double crochet. I've worked half double crochets, so you do a half double crochet, and that's how this locks up. Now, like I said, assuming that this is your project and you've put your button enclosure there, halfway down, and this is the top of your project, then you need to see, okay, I need about 5 stitches to go around there now. So you work 5 more chain, 1 2 3 4, 5. Let's check if that's the top. Does it go around? Yes, it does. And then it's 1, 2 and 3 stitches that were left there in the back there. 1, 2 and 3 from the end. So you need to work 3 stitches back again to finish the circle. But how do you work the 3 stitches? So in the last 3 stitches, you go back and you work into that stitch there, and you work a slip stitch, and you've locked that, and you made the enclosure there. 1, 2 and 3. Those were slip stitches to lock up the loop that you've made, and then you work whatever stitch. You have to work a stitch here in that center piece again to get it even, and then you work whatever stitch you have till the end. In my case, it's a half double crochet, and then you check that it goes around before you lock off your thing. It does, and that's how this enclosure would look. I hope you had a fun and interesting tutorial lesson here today, and do remember to join me for the next session soon. Bye bye, have a great day.